What's happening, everybody? Thanks for tuning on in. Tobin here with you. Thanks for finding our channel, continuing to support the channel. And if you want to, just like, subscribe, that whole shebang. If you're a fan of the radio show, I'll be back on Monday, as we are every single Monday, from 6 to 10 a.m. on 7 Night Ticket. Go over to that page, which is youtube.com/TicketMiami, and you can get me, Leroy, Marcos, J-Fig, the whole gang, as we give you a silly sauce every single weekday. I was out on Friday. Took a little staycation for the wife's birthday, and so I was out, and I did not get a chance to react to the Warriors winning the championship. And I said, I think in my last video I was talking about how much I would have liked to see what Miami could have done against this team. And you got to give props to the Warriors, really, ever since that epic Game 4 from Steph Curry. It really looks like they just destroyed the Celtics mentally. Andrew Wiggins balling out, and then just an entire team effort. I just felt in that finale. And so Steph Curry gets that elusive Finals MVP. So it's like the last thing on the resume for him that everybody would like hold over his head. And I just came away with this, man. My big feelings on the NBA Finals. And this is tough for me to say because I don't say this a ton and give credit to a lot of organizations. I like to stay, Heat centric. That's my squad. I like rooting for them. I like stacking the petty against everybody. I'm bummed that we've never gotten to see the matchup between the Heat and the Warriors. I think it would be fantastic. And I really came away from this championship that they won. I was happy for Steph Curry. But I really came away with a big sense of jealousy. I can say as a Heat fan, I was very, very envious of everything that this championship meant to them, because I feel like the Heat have been chasing this since 2013 for a long time, between all of the phases they've kind of gone through. And there's been a lot. Like it's been a big roller coaster. And you got to give them so much credit, because when you lose somebody the caliber of a Kevin Durant, for a lot of organizations, that's crushing. And they went through some really, really trying times between, Klay Thompson getting hurt, then getting hurt again, them kind of packing up a season, getting the number 2 pick, and, bringing in D'Angelo Russell and flipping for Andrew Wiggins, and, all this type of stuff that they went through. And they got back to the mountaintop. They got back to where they were before they got Kevin Durant. And that, to me, I'm very, very envious of. I'm very, very envious of, because it is tough when you get an all-time player to your squad, which the Heat did with LeBron James, in kind of similar circumstances. Like when LeBron, this is why I've never really gotten on the Warriors for getting KD, which everybody felt was unfair, but in a lot of ways, LeBron coming to the Miami Heat and joining Chris Bosh and Dwayne Wade, it's not parallel for parallel, because I know like the Warriors, it was more recent. They were just a 73-win team, where the Heat were going through getting bounced in the first round. But ultimately, it was pairing up. The idea was pairing up. You're pairing Steph Curry with Kevin Durant, and you're pairing maybe, the second best player with the third best player. And for the Heat, it was basically you're pairing LeBron James with Dwayne Wade. And yes, you're also adding Chris Bosh. And so to do something that awesome in free agency, and then to get to the mountaintop, to be to 4 straight finals, and then to have it all kind of go away, that the Heat have been going through this journey for a long time to get back, and they've been so damn close. They've been to a finals in 2020, and they've been to a Game 7 of an Eastern Conference Finals. So they've really had their chances to get back to this spot, while also having some weird years in between where you have Dion Waiters and Goran Dragic being your 1-2 punch on a 30-11 second half of the season, when you were maybe going to tank. Or maybe, you look at what the Warriors did, it's like, oh, maybe they should have tanked. Maybe they should have gone in that direction. Who knows? Although it's not like James Wiseman gave him a whole ton. But I really just came away with a lot of jealousy from this, because, Steph Curry getting that I shouldn't say final ring, but getting that ring after Kevin Durant leaves, because everybody kind of looked at it as, oh yeah, Steph's good, but you know, it was really KD was the best player on the team, which, you know, very arguable that he was finals MVP twice. But it's like, but Steph, you know, he never is quite the playoff player that he was, never the finals player that he was. And he just gets the big middle finger ring because he's always been great and he's always been one of the best. And he always should have had everybody's respect. And he was great in the 2015 finals when they first won their ring. But it's like everybody forgets it. You know, it's like you get somebody like Kevin Durant on your team and then everybody thinks, oh, he can't do it anymore. He's not that guy anymore. And it's hard not to feel like I felt some of those things with D Wade, where it's just like, man, you just wanted D Wade to get that crack at that one more ring after LeBron left. And there were some parallels to that too, where it's like you have this Klay Thompson catastrophic injury that they got to deal with, but the difference is he gets to come back. And with the Heat, you know, I kind of draw it to Chris Bosh, where it's like, man, they had this year where you have Dwayne Wade, they traded for Goran Dragic, you had Chris Bosh, and you think to yourself, man, if Chris Bosh doesn't get sick, what is that team? And then get sick again, what is that team? What are they able to do? Do they really have a puncher's chance? Are they able to get back there? And then time just runs out, dude. Time runs out, and D Wade calls it a career. You know, maybe did it a little bit early because he probably could have given you a couple more years, but you know, obviously we see how he's flourishing after basketball and doesn't seem like he really needs it. So his career, you know, wraps up, and it was still a beauty. You know, it was still an all-timer. He's still the greatest player in franchise history. In my opinion, third greatest shooting guard of all time, but doesn't get that bow, you know, that one last climb to the mountaintop. You know, he had some excellent moments and had some memorable playoff moments, shutting up purple shirt guy and, you know, and having the buzzer beater against the Warriors in his final season. And so you had moments to treasure, but to have something like this where Steph Curry, who's not close to retiring, but to have that moment, I think as a Warriors fan, where you're just like, yeah, our guy got up to the top and nobody thought that he could, and nobody thought he could be a finals player and all this, that, and the other. I felt a lot of jealousy, and I felt jealousy in the idea that Klay Thompson got to make his comeback where Chris Bosh didn't. You know, that he got to come all the way back where, you know, my producer gets on him and thinks that Klay Thompson, I mean, like, come on, dude. You're talking about two catastrophic injuries and being able to find your way all the way back to the championship. I mean, how cool is that? The idea that you're able to put all that stuff in your rearview mirror, and you get to just sit here with another trophy in your lap and another ring that's going to go on your finger, and you think, man, like with Chris, like we still think that he could have been playing basketball, like what he would have been like next to Bam Adebayo, and what a perfect fit he would have been for today's NBA. And we never got that, and I'm jealous of it, man. You know, I'm sitting here just telling all Warriors fans, I'm not hating. I'm not disrespecting your title. I'm sitting here telling you I'm envious. I'm envious of all that stuff. And a lot of that stuff now has kind of been passed from D Wade being gone for the Steph to now I want it for Jimmy. You know, and it's a little bit different because, you know, Jimmy's still searching for his first, but you just want it so bad. And you think about, man, they've been, you know, two bad injuries in the finals, and a 3-point shot away with bad injuries in these playoffs. And you're just like, man, I really felt like those teams at full strength did have themselves a chance. I really, really did have themselves a punch. I'm also, by the way, very, very jealous that the Warriors got to beat Boston this year, because I hate Boston, as Pat Riley says so eloquently. Boston, you know. I mean, like that's feel it in my soul. So I'm jealous of that too. I'm jealous of the idea that, you know, they get their fourth title in the 2000s, and you know the Heat have been close but haven't gotten there yet. I have a lot of things that I'm envious of with that. I'm honest. This was another thing that I'm envious of with Andre Iguodala. You know, he had a stint here, and shout out to him. Gave some props to Heat culture and gave some props to the Miami Heat that helped him accept his role to what it was with his return to the Warriors. And, you know, embodied a lot of what Udonis Haslem is for the Miami Heat. He was giving to the Golden State Warriors, and I'm jealous that Andre Iguodala who was on the Heat and had a great Eastern Conference Finals to help the Heat get to the finals. I'm jealous that he was able to get another ring on his finger to kind of probably put a bow on his career. I mean, I would love it if Udonis Haslem was able to do that for everything that he means to this locker room and everything that he means to this organization and this city and all those young guys out there. I'm envious of that too, man. And so like I'm looking at this and I'm thinking to myself, man, they get to throw these middle fingers. And the Heat, it's like you've gotten to this time where like you're thinking to yourself too, like, well, what does this mean? Like, where do you go from here? You're so damn close. What is this offseason going to bring? We're going into a very busy time right now where the offseason kind of is officially underway. We had a Christian Wood trade this week, which Heat fans like, Christian Wood, we could have had him. But you got the draft coming up this week. Will Riley be into the draft? Does he want to package that with picks? Is Donovan Mitchell really going to be in play? Is Bradley Beal really going to be in play? I don't think so. Like what is the move going to be? Is there a satisfaction for the Miami Heat? Do they see what, Jordan Poole was able to do for them? Do they think Tyler Hero can do that? Can he grow into that for the Miami Heat? Can he be that kind of a playoff performer for the Miami Heat, hitting those, clutch heaves, those big time threes, that buoying score next to Jimmy Butler? Or are they going to go harpooning? Because that's another thing. This Warriors team, the one thing that is not too parallel with is like the Heat definitely have gone with this has got to feel great because this is all homegrown other than Wiggins. This is all very homegrown. And Wiggins was a very big piece, so I guess that's not nothing. But, for the most part, the face of this all is Steph, Clay, and Draymond. So is this going to be a Heat team that's really built with Jimmy, who's not homegrown for the Heat, but obviously everybody thinks embodies a Heat player, with Bam and Tyler Hero and their crew of the undrafted? Or is there going to be another splash because Riley always goes and makes a big splash? And maybe that involves trading Tyler Hero or, I can't envision it trading Bam Adebayo. I don't think that's going to happen with the Miami Heat. But I think it all just makes you kind of sit back and think because it's like the Warriors now get this bragging rights of like, team of the decade, team of the 2000s, you could even say. Where it's like you want the Heat to get this one more elite shot, and you think to the finals in 2020, and you had the grand petty of them all, the showdown with LeBron, which would have been so poetic for the Heat, and he ends up on top. That's why he's one of the best players of all time, even though he left the Heat high and dry. So I really, really just found myself so envious after this, not in a bad way, but I'm just like, man, they are getting everything that I want the Heat to have, especially for Pat Riley. You heard him this past a couple weeks ago where he talked about the build and wanted to see this build through, one more build. And a lot of that ties back to Jimmy Butler because they were looking for that last orca. They were looking for that guy after LeBron left. They tried going after Kevin Durant. They were looking for that guy to kind of be the heir apparent to D Wade. And Jimmy's done it unbelievably. I didn't like. Normally that happens. You lose a D Wade. Like, first of all, it's not only losing LeBron James, it's not only losing Chris Bosh to health, but then you lose Dwayne Wade to retirement. Normally does take a long time to recover to lose 3 Hall of Famers like that. And Jimmy Butler has just done so much of carrying this franchise on his shoulders and helping this team win. That. I think that's what Riley means when he wants to see it through. And obviously also see it for Eric Spoelstra. Eric Spoelstra wants that non-LeBron title. Everybody does. Everybody wants you want to say like it's not, you want to be proud of it because it is a big thing. Like the Heat were able to bring LeBron James into Miami with Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh and bring them all under the salary cap, and they were all able to do fantastic things. But there is, when you have a guy who's that big a deal like Durant was and like LeBron is, you think to yourself, like, man, well, can we still do that again? Can you get to that mountaintop again? Spo's got to feel some of that too. Like, how good does it have to feel to be Steve Kerr, where it's just like, yep, see, doesn't matter. You can put whatever the pieces are, but we got, you take away Kevin Durant, you thought we were going to be dead in the water. Everybody's picking the Brooklyn Nets to go to the finals and win the championship, and here's his former team hoisting the trophy. So just a lot of look, there is admiration hard not to respect what they did, but also just tremendous jealousy from this Heat fan from what the Warriors were able to do. A tip of the cap for you getting your petty ring to the king of petty, Steph Curry. Respect from the Pope Petty to the King Petty. Mutual petty respect for getting your petty ring. And hopefully one day the Miami Heat will be there joining you, with Pat Riley. Pat Riley getting to slip on one more petty ring before it's all said and done. But until then, just got to be sitting here envious of them hoisting the trophy.